Hello everyone, Jan here today from Needle, and in today's video I'm going to show you how you can actually have access to your product specs, which you may create in Confluence or Notion within your cursor session. So normally when you develop code or you use the cursor agent to actually let the agent write code in your cursor session, you need to give the cursor agent some context, and in this regard the agent normally is looking through your already existing code. And a normal development cycle of code normally evolves around product spec and then a technical spec, as well as then writing code, right? So you first of all make clear what kind of features are requested by the end user. And as a developer, often you talk with project managers or product managers, and they kind of collect the feature requests from the end users, which are maybe end users when you develop a software as a service for an end customer, or maybe if you develop software in-house in a specific company for the people that actually work within, for example, the marketing or sales department. Then once you have this product spec, normally you sit together with the development team and you work out this tech spec so that you actually know what to do, because 1 hour of planning actually can save you sometimes 10 hours of writing code. And therefore this integration of Needle into Cursor via MCP is really, really powerful, because it allows you to access the product specs that are defined within your knowledge base, just within your agent mode within Cursor. So what I've done here right now is actually I created here a feature spec for refund order. And in this case, I have set up here the API reference and what is actually needed. And we want to know actually the response, how this should be handled, how this actually should be defined, and what are the next steps. And now this normally is created by a project manager or product manager in working together with the end customer. And now the project manager or product manager would sit together with the developer and say, look, we need this. How much time do you think it might take? And can you write this code? And so, as I said, we as Needle are integrated into the MCP server as an official kind of contributor. You see here Needle is one of the official integrations, and we are very proud on that. So I've connected here this Notion page together with my Needle collection, so that this Needle collection has actually access to this Notion page, which defines the non-refund project feature specs. So we could ask questions here within the Needle chat, but instead we want to ask these questions within Cursor. And what we therefore need to do is we need to go to our Cursor project, and we need to create a .cursor folder. And in this Cursor folder, we want to create a mcp.json file and copy over this kind of script. And here you need to put in your Needle API key. So this actually has access to your Needle collections and can make the search. So in this regard, it can search your Notion page, which you have connected there to this Needle collection. And how you activate this, you actually go here to Cursor settings, then to MCP, and it understands that you have defined this mcp.json file. Because of that, you can click here on enable, and then you are going to enable this MCP integration. What we now want to do is that we want to go to the agent mode, and we want to ask the agent mode here, not in ask, but in agent mode, because only then we can have the MCP service accessible within the Cursor session. So what we then want to ask here is actually we want to say list my most recent Needle collection. So now it asks us actually to run the tool. So we are saying, please, yes, run the MCP tool, which is Needle list collections. And as you see here, it gave us back the stats that is actually created today, 20th of March, and that there's one file has been added to it, which is this kind of features page. And what we now want to do is that we want to say here within our session, actually, we have created here a source folder, but currently there's nothing inside with this within this source folder. Based on this collection, retrieve the feature spec for the refund order. So now you see it was actually able to retrieve this this information from our Notion page, which we connected to our Needle collection. And this is really great, because now we know actually what we need to do based on the specs, on the planning. So we can actually guide the Cursor agent to write code exactly as we want it, so that it is very precise and does not actually just go into this agent mode where it writes a lot of nonsense code. So now we want to say here, write this code for the API based on the outlined feature specs. So now you see actually that it's really cool, because we saw that this agent mode of Cursor has been triggered, and actually was triggered with a lot of context that we have actually generated beforehand, so that it exactly did what we wanted it to do. And it specifically created this based on the requirements that we have made, for example, a 30-day refund window for validation, API authentication, rate limiting, error handling for edge cases, monitoring via Datadog, Stripe integration for payment processing. And all this has been done because we currently beforehand already gave the context, because we did a good planning, we did a good description of what we actually want to do, because these models are only as good as you actually are able to prompt them. And so the more context or the better context you actually give them, the better results you're also going to get. If I make a very generic request, it will make a very generic answer. So as you see here, this is a really powerful integration, because if you use Needle MCP integration within Cursor and connect it to your documentations or your product specs, which you have within Confluence or Notion, the agent mode here within Cursor is really much more context enriched, so it can create much more high quality code for you, so that you actually have to make less prompts, you are faster to develop, you use less tokens, and also you just create better, more high quality products in the end. I cannot wait to see what you're building with Needle's integration into Cursor via MCP. I think this is a really powerful feature which can help many of you to create better applications in agentic mode of Cursor, because 1 hour of planning and actually writing your product specs can save you 10 hours of writing code, also in the end thousands of hours of maintaining code or refactoring code, because the most expensive step of writing code is actually not writing the code itself. The most expensive step within software engineering is actually refactoring code that has been incorrectly written within the past and created a lot of tech debt. Thank you very much for watching. We're really excited about this, and we cannot wait to see what you're building. See you soon.